WrestlePro fans, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. After not being in the building for a year, I returned to the Rahway Recreation Center for a great night of WrestlePro action. First, there was pre-show as we saw Leon St. Giovanni defeat Juan Vargas, and in a 2-on-4 handicap match, Bear Country, Bear Bronson, and Bear Beefcake defeated Alex King, Victor Chase, Richard Sharp, and their partner whose name I did not get, and I apologize for that. Then was on to the main show, which began with Jake the Snake Roberts comes to the ring, gets on the microphone, and he said he was feeling an itch to wrestle again, even though he has retired. And he mentioned Kevin Matthews and Jack Swagger, and then he was interrupted by the Messiah of Old School, Sean Donovan, who was wearing a neck brace, and claims it was from the fact that he was attacked by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, last month. And I forgot what Sean Donovan kept saying, but then Jake Roberts eventually attacked. I think Donovan attempted to attack Roberts, or Roberts just went to town on him, and Roberts ended up giving Donovan a DDT. And that was a very cool T-shirt Jake was wearing. It looked like an Oakland Raiders shirt, but it said Jake the Snake, and there's a picture of Jake wearing dressed like an Oakland Raider. Then the action of the main show began as we saw the first of 4 Silver Survivor matches as the Jackson 5, Chris Payne, Buster Jackson, and the Heavenly Bodies defeated 3 men and a Habib. Habib from the Car Wash, CPA, Francis Kipling Stevens, and their partner whose name I did not get, and I do apologize for that one. Chris Payne was the only one who survived from the match, enabling him to go on to the Battle Royal later in the show. Next up was women's action as Rosemary defeated Chris Statlander. Then in the second Silver Survivor match, the Sterling Stallions, Smart Mark Sterling, Delroy, Chris Steeler, and I didn't get their partner's name, and I apologize for that, as they defeated the Unretirables, Johnny Clash, Hush, and the Amazing Graysons. Delroy and Chris Steeler were the only 2 from the Sterling Stallions to survive and advance to the Battle Royal match. But then all of a sudden, too cocky Kevin Matthews comes out, and Kevin mentioned about a group that he formed years ago, and he took, I don't know if that was a sweater or a jacket he wore, he took it off, and he was wearing a brand new Reality Check t-shirt. Matthews threw a shirt to Chris Steeler, he put it on, and then Matthews said to Delroy he had something for him, and Steeler super kicks Delroy, and Steeler and Matthews leave the ring. Next up, we saw Apple Corps, Matt McIntosh, and I forgot his partner's name. They defeated the Taboo Crew, Craig Steele, and I forgot his partner's name, as Apple Corps retained the tag team championship. During this matchup, Casey Catala and Vanity had a cat fight, and that was one for all the perverts in the building. Next up was the third Silver Survivor elimination match as the Cornerstones, Danny Moff, Anthony Bowens, Falaba, and Mario Boccara basically mopped the canvas with job security, and it was a clean sweep as all 4 Cornerstones survived the match and moved on, enabling them to advance to the Battle Royal later in the show. It was intermission time at that point, and the fans got the opportunity to go in the ring and get a picture with Jake the Snake Roberts. Then the action resumed as we saw the Beach Buns, Hot Dog Starks, and all 3 Beach Bums take on Team Espanicos, Team España, Coach D, and Nikos Ricos, as Brody of the Beach Bums was the only one to survive that matchup, and he moved on to the Battle Royal later in the show. In singles action, Jack Swagger defeated Bobby Wayward. And next up, we had too cocky Kevin Matthews challenging Chris Avery Kuling for the Gold Championship. During the matchup, Chris Steeler came out, and at one point he pulled the referee out of the ring as Kuling was about to win. Eventually, Steeler hits the ring attacking Kuling until Delroy came out and went after Steeler, and Kuling won the match by disqualification, retaining the championship. And then it was main event time, and it was time for the Battle Royal to crown the first ever silver champion. The participants were all 4 cornerstones: Danny Moff, Anthony Bowens, Falaba and Mario Boccara, Chris Payne, Brody from the Beach Bums, Delroy, and Chris Steeler. Steeler was eliminated first by Delroy. Steeler ended up pulling Delroy out of the ring, causing him to get eliminated. I forgot how, but then Brody got eliminated. Falaba ended up eliminating Mario Boccara when he meant to clothesline Chris Payne. Payne managed to eliminate Fala. Payne was eliminated by his own manager, Shining Edward Jackson, who I guess he thought Anthony Bowens he was grabbing and pulled him over the top rope, and they got into a bit of an argument when, I think right before going through the curtain, Payne pushed Jackson down. And then it was down to Moff and Bowens, and Moff had a burning hammer and threw Bowens over the top rope. Bowens held on the apron, and then Moff hit a cannonball, knocking Bowens to the floor. And as a result, Danny Moff was the very first WrestlePro Silver Champion. Personal notes time. It was great sitting with Mike McNicholas, Rick Santos, and Frank Knight. It was great to be back in this building for the first time over here. Great seeing Bill Parham, Jason Bob 87, Karen Guskind. I think that's how her last name is pronounced. I didn't know I'd end up going to this show because I don't really go to WrestlePro too often because sometimes they run the same night as other shows or sometimes I got other plans. We do have some memorable quotes. Nerd down! Frank Knight when Francis Kipling Stevens, I think when he got eliminated from his elimination match. That's an angry wiener. Frank Knight referring to Hot Dog Starks. One particular WrestlePro fan who was sitting right in front of me, she was very surprised to see me for the first time in a long time. Those sitting around me, got to have Megaphone play. And I'm sure everybody was happy about that one. Ooh. Okay, WrestlePro presents a double dose of action as they return to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn on Friday, December 8th. And return to Rahway, New Jersey on Saturday, December 9th. And here's the card for the Bay Ridge show on Friday, December 8th. Impact Wrestling's champion Eli Drake one-on-one with newly crowned silver champion Danny Moff. LAX, Santana and Ortiz take on the Heavenly Bodies. Talon goes one-on-one with Falaba. Nikos Ricos one-on-one with Tukaki Kevin Matthews. A three-way dance, which will see Bobby Wayward versus Delroy versus Sanjay Dutt. Colt Cabana returns to WrestlePro as he goes up against returning to in-ring action Sean Donovan. In women's action, Sienna goes one-on-one with Chris Statlander. In an 8-man tag team match, all three Beach Bums and Hot Dog Starks do battle with all 4 members of Job Security. Johnny Clash goes one-on-one with Smart Mark Sterling. And CPA joins forces with the Big O to take on Team España. That's Friday night, December 8th in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Friday night, December 9th in Rahway, already announced Eli Drake will be defending the Impact Championship against Alberto Del Rio, or is it Alberto El Patron, or whatever he's calling himself these days. And also appearing on December 9th will be Sienna, Sanjay Dutt, Kevin Matthews, LAX, Gold Champion Chris Avery Kuling, Falaba, Mario Boccara, Bobby Wayward, The Apple Corps, Nikos Ricos, The Taboo Crew, Anthony Bowens, Bear Down, or I think they're called Bear Country, Dan Moff, and more. So definitely, I'm looking forward to both of those shows in the month of December. I hope everybody enjoyed this event. And certainly, and certainly can't wait for more events to follow.